we have started our new it's not franchises, it's like our picks of the month. Chris will come on and tell me, what the hell, you don't do this? I know we have a theme, the theme of the month. The theme of this month was favorite movies or good movies from 2018. And it's such a variety, huge smorgasbord of a list. I thought I'd do something different, right? Pick a movie how many thoughts did I have about it? How long did it take to come out? So we're going to talk about tonight a Disney Pixar classic, The Incredibles 2. Did it take too long to come out? What took so long? Why don't you think about it? We'll be right back, y'all. Unpop Review Entertainment, The Incredibles 2 review. Let it go. Roll that bleeding footage!
Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Crazy, right? To help my family, I gotta leave it. To fix the law, I gotta break it.
You've got to, so our kids can have that choice.
Thank you, young man.
Suit up. It might get weird.
I'll be there ASAP.
Where you going ASAP? You better be back ASAP.
ASAP, no Rocky. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Unpopular Reviews. This is our theme of this month, 2018 movies from 2018. I'm your host, one of your hosts this evening, Mr. Knox Incredible. I'm joined by the executive consultant and Victor Moan Jr. How you guys doing tonight, fellas?
Gotta unmute. There you go.
There you go. Good. How you doing, executive consultant? You ready to be consultative? Well, let's talk about it, guys. Tonight we are doing The Incredibles 2, my pick. This is about what do you call it? A telecommunication guru, Mr. Winston DeVore. He enlists Elastigirl to fight crime to make public for the fall in love with superheroes all over again. This is a spinoff from the original The Incredibles that came out almost 8 years before this movie came out. Beautiful cast. Continue for when did the first Incredibles come out? It came out 2014. Woo! That's a long time in between films. And so a lot of people went into this movie. You still got the original. You got Violet Dash, Jack's on fire and doing all kind of crazy, insane things. We're going to talk about The Incredibles 2 right here, right now on this program. 2018 films, good or bad? Start with you, executive consultant.
Well, quite frankly, yeah, the answer to your question that you posed at the beginning. And this is not saying it's a thumbs up or thumbs down, but yeah, it waited too long, man. The first Incredibles came out in 2004. I took it with some woman I was dating. I don't remember her name. But anyway, the bottom line is I went to go see the movie. And I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would because this is when I stopped watching animation stuff like that. And I really did enjoy it. It was a good time. And I was like, damn, this was before I had kids. So I was like, kind of wish I had some kids to take this because it really, And so 2018 comes, and I got some gray hair here and some gray hair there, and back's hurting. And I'm like, okay, let's go see this movie. I got kids now, but they're grown, and they don't want to see it. So I'm like, all right, fine, cool. I'm exaggerating, but I'm like, all right, fine, cool. And I didn't get the same warm and fuzzies that I did with the first one. And the only reason how come I'm mentioning that is because I prefaced it before I mentioned this conversation. I did not get it. However, it was a darn good time with some certain things. The family dynamic of the movie is what makes the first one work. And to see it continue in the second one, I thought was a fantastic thing because, especially after so many years, they try to go a different direction because things are a little bit different. And they try to pretty much stick to it. This is a dysfunctional family group of superheroes that are getting a little bit older and they're focusing on what they can do as a superhero family. And from that aspect, it did the job it needed to do. And that's what's important. Every character worked in their own way, from the person you thought might be the villain to the person who ended up being the villain. Some characters that were popular in the past that came back that still mentioned. I mean, it did what it needed to do to be an Incredibles movie. And that's what it was. Vic. Without the mute.
Well, I mean, this movie is. I have to watch the first movie because I've never seen this content before.
Oh, this is your first
Um,
time?
yeah, it's the first time I've never watched The Incredibles before. I mean,
That's
2004.
sad, Vic.
What was I doing? 2004. I mean, yeah, I was playing with the white girl. Yeah,
little pink, little snow bunnies,
yeah, I was messing with the snow bunnies in
little pink
2004.
toes.
Like, damn, that's crazy. That was almost 20 years ago. It was wild. So no, I mean, I never got into it. Like, I noticed that a lot of people went and got like Halloween costumes dressed as the Incredibles and all of that, and it was a big thing back
I
then.
still want to do it as a
It
family.
was. It is.
I just got more kids than that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it does make sense. I mean, honestly, I think you just put everybody in red with an eye and bomb calling. Doesn't matter how many
Black
you got in the
turtles.
squad. In fact, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, but honestly, like, I really enjoyed the first movie. I'm glad that I saw the first movie because if I would have jumped into this just as the second movie, there's a lot of things that I would have missed. Because the way that this is, because mind you, from 2004 to 2018, that is a huge gap. And watching it the way that I'm watching it right now, it feels like from one episode to the next. I mean, there's a lot of consistency, especially like with the end of the last movie and then this movie. I really think that they did a really, really good job as far as continuing the story, which is hard to do sometimes with so much time in between. I mean, who knows what the red tape and the bureaucracy was going on for this situation. But yeah, it's really good. It really is good. And mind you, the other thing is just that it's easy to resonate with. You got a father that's dealing with kids that's just he's dealing with a situation that's just impossible to deal with. But I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite characters in this entire thing is the designer. Like, she's just
absolutely.
She's just something else, bro. I mean, and there's always a character like that. Like in Black Lightning, they had Gamby, and Spider-Man's got the guy in the chair. There's always like somebody that's like the support.
And it's crazy because Edna's played by Brad Beard.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's interesting. That is interesting. No, but Edna, in my opinion, like, she's just amazing. And the other thing is like the way that she connected with the baby and did all this stuff for the baby was very, very interesting, because she comes across as this person that's just like, like bougie and selfish or would never have a cat. You know what I mean? But then the baby comes around and then she melts. You know what I'm saying? And does all of this stuff for the child. Like, and mind you, the star of the show is the baby.
Mm-hmm. Jack definitely steals the scene.
He really is the star of the show. Like, you never know what the hell he's gonna do, what power he's gonna have. The guy's got like 17 different powers. Oh my God, who knows what the hell? Like, I really feel bad for the father because when this kid becomes a teenager, mind you, the fast one is hard to handle. You know what I mean? Dash is just
that's my oldest son right there.
Like, he's just always hype, always ready to do something, ready to blow up the rockets. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I wish he stole the car. I think that would have been cool. Because Dash is just like, come on, pull the rockets, yeah, So, I was hoping that this was gonna be like years later, and the kids were gonna be almost adults or whatever, and they were gonna have other powers and things like that. But it's literally just in continuance. So I appreciate it. And then the other person I appreciate the most is Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Jackson's in this movie. Man, he's like Mr. Freeze. The guy, he's just always there. He's just literally just ready. And then the other thing that I love is his wife. Every time he's going out somewhere, his wife is in the
bring your ass home.
Like, what you mean? You better not put on that suit. He's just rolling his eyes, put it on. That shit had me dying, bro. So it's a good time. It's a good time. I'm not gonna
lie. I loving the first Incredibles, and I always compare things. I always put things on high levels. when I first saw the first Incredibles back in 2004, I didn't realize it was 14 years later this movie comes out. I thought coming off the WB being strong at that time, Fox Kids, the end of their cartoon runs, I said, this is how you do cartoons. I thought it was perfectly done from a superhero standpoint, seeing people from like different things that I think cartoons started to miss out on. I think that was one of the appeals for me in that movie. And then seeing it 14 years later, and like you said, Vic, they hadn't grown up. And so I was okay. The story, okay. The whole thing is Mr. Incredible is saving the world like he always does, but he always has always trying to, always tear something up. So they got to stop that. So like in the accordance in the Avengers movie, the government came together and said, hey, you guys can't do that no more on your own. We're going to shut down superheroes. So all of a sudden, as they're doing that, this secret society comes along and says, hey, we have an opposite idea to do that. And then they pick, Elastigirl, which again, you talk about, red tape and things like that. I think this is the time when Hollywood started going heavy towards female. So they let the female lead, Heather Hunter's character, Elastigirl, takes over, and boom, that's what we got. And then so you're watching this, and then it comes out the villain, what's her name, Screensaver. You're like, I just thought the movie had a, say it again, I can't, you're muted. You can interrupt, and it is a conversation.
I was just trying to mouth the Screenslaver.
Screenslaver, okay. Screenslaver, because they were definitely enslaving people, that's for sure. Right? So you got all these things going on, but it made me wonder, was it a good film? You watch this movie, and 14 years later, I think a lot of sequels suffered from that. I think The Matrix is one of them. The first one comes to my mind. It took too long for The Matrix to come back out with the second movie. And to me, by the time The Matrix came back out, which set the bar for special effects, movies like Blade 2 took those same effects that The Matrix has used. You can just insert other sequels as you want to, but that's the one that always comes to my mind. Like, damn, y'all just took way too long for The Matrix 2 to come out. I thought this movie took way too long for the sequel to come out. But did we like the movie? We're going to come back and find out, give our final thoughts, favorite parts, worst parts, all those good things. And go see what we got coming up this week. Got some movies. And we got the end of a franchise. We'll be right back, y'all.
Jaeger pilots, do you understand?
One way to find out.
That's what I'm talking about!
For the first time in our lifetimes, we're standing together with 13 districts.
Tonight, turn your weapons to the Capitol. Turn your weapons to snow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 76th Hunger Games.
We are back here on Unpopular Review Entertainment. I am Knox, Mr. Knox Incredible. That's the executive consultant, and Vic Damone Jr. down there. We're here talking movies of 2018. My pick, The Incredible 2. We also got a chance to see next week's movie, the executive consultant picked Pacific Rim 2. John Boyega steps away from Star Wars at this point. And also the end of our franchise, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2, which I will not wait till next week because unfortunately, make you guys pray for me. I'll be having a surgery on that day, so I will not be here for that conclusion of that film, but I ain't waiting till we do a review to watch it. I'm watching it tomorrow when I wake up and watch Heels. But we are back and we're talking The Incredibles 2, executive consultant. Favorite parts of the movie, worst parts of the movie, if you have any, your thoughts about the longevity or how long it took for it to come back out, and thumbs up, thumbs down.
Favorite part of the movie was just pretty much anything where the family is getting together and they're fighting as a family and fighting as a team. I definitely appreciated that. Worst part of the movie is I wasn't really a big fan of the villain. I appreciated what they were trying to do, but after the first villain, I thought worked very, very well for that family and for that movie. I think it was a little bit of a letdown. And I'll preface this. Well, I'll compare it to another movie that I was a big fan of.
Caught me monologuing. That's one of the best parts of the first Incredibles.
Exactly. I'll compare it to another one that it had something similar like that, and that would say Kingsman. Kingsman 1 with Samuel L. Jackson as the villain. I thought it did a fantastic job. And then the Kingsman 2 with, and I forget her name, and she's in the Hunger Games right now, was the villain. And I thought she was not a good follow-up villain for that movie. Samuel L. Jackson is going to be hard to follow anyway, but she's this actress, and again, it bothers me. She's from Aswell Turns too. It bothers me because her name is escaping me, but she is a very talented actress, and I just didn't think it worked for the movie anyway. So that was the same problem I had with the slavery. The worst scene, I know people are going to hate because they said this guy stole the movie from, but that baby and fighting that raccoon was not a fan of that at all.
No,
was not a fan of that at all. I could not stand that scene at all. So that kind of took away from the movie. And I said that, you mentioned Matrix and sequels. I think some movies have done well with the time frame and sequels, and I've seen it. And there are some movies I just think it hurts.
I can't have them that come to mind right away.
I can think of it.
I mean big films though, like ones that are worth a sequel, not just always what Vic would call a money grab.
Correct. And I will try to think of one right now. I mean, when I can't think of one right now either. Indiana Jones, I think, was affected by it. I mentioned Rush Hour 3 wasn't as long as this one was. The gap wasn't as big, but I felt like Rush Hour 3 really hurt it being like 5-6 years later. I just wasn't. And I was a big fan of Rush Hour 1 and 2, kind of like Bad Boys 1 and 2. But Bad Boys 3 wasn't on the same level. Wasn't a bad movie. Was not a bad movie.
Bad Boys almost 7-8 years.
1 and 2 was 7 years. 1 and 2 was 7 years, but 3.
So we're talking 14 years here between 1 and 2.
You have to look at the different time frames of how movies were back then and how movies are now, especially when it's coming from the 90s. Now, Incredibles obviously was in 2004, but it's still a difference. When Incredibles came out, the blockbuster season really just started becoming blockbuster season as every week. Something coming out. I think this came out in the fall time, but every week, because Spider-Man came out in 2004. Star Wars Episode 2 came out in 2004, right? And Spider-Man broke records when it came out, but that record has been shattered over and over and over again by now. So 2018, and notice I haven't talked about Incredibles 3, and then I'll turn it over to Vic when I say this before I guess we'll give our thumbs up and thumbs down. But one of the things that is going to be a part of my reading is the fact that I really believe if they wanted to continue with the series, they should have probably just did it as a television series and not a movie.
Absolutely, they could run it for a while, but maybe the expenses of having that cast.
Correct, the expenses of having the cast. When you look at the cast, I mean, granted, Granny's Peach Tea still does things from time to time, but the other people don't really do that much. So, I mean, especially Coach. So, think about that. So, I think it might have worked better as a TV series.
Vic, well, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs down. Wow. Not a fan of The Incredibles 2. Vic, Damone Jr. Final thoughts, favorite parts, worst parts?
Well, see, what I like is the character development of the kids. Especially the teenage daughter, because in the first movie, Violet, like in the first movie, she's super shy and and little by little she keeps getting more and more confident. And then in the second movie, they give her a little bit more responsibility, and then she starts to come more into her own, especially when her parents are in trouble.
Right.
And because the thing is that what I found interesting is that they literally found a way to control all of these supers. Which was interesting because what like I said before, what I like is just the continuity of everything. But I do agree that it definitely was a big time period in between. But one thing that I really think they're trying to, at least the narrative I think that they're trying to push here, is that a woman can take lead, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't need help. And now in the first movie, it's literally where the villain is the father's nemesis, the father's past. And now in the second movie, the villain is the mother's nemesis, right? So now it kind of just like brings everything together. So
Well,
now,
she wasn't really a nemesis. She was somebody who just became a new villain because she was just, she just used her.
I mean, no, but the thing about it is that it really gave like single white female vibes. You know what I mean? Just you ever seen that movie?
Of course, I don't see the.
So like she really gave like those kind of vibes. The villain where like she was basically trying to live vicariously through the other one and jealous of the other one and always like praising her and telling her, look, aren't you happy to be in the front and this and that, and always kind of just like pushing the narrative. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's definitely more to that villain, but she had she just had those kind of vibes. And then her brother was just this guy that was just ready to everything and push everything and market everything and be all of that. And there's bad and good to those things, right? But she was just, I don't know, you could just see that she was just deeply disturbed, right? And now that's something that a lot of people can resonate with because, there's always that crazy roommate. There's always that crazy, you know what I mean? And, we always say things like women hate other women. But there's examples for those statements. You know what I mean? So we all have examples for those statements. So that, all of that just came across. And then, and in the end, Violet just developing as a child, her being so scared of the boy, and then her eventually, going out on the date with the kid. And shout out to the father because I think that I'm not a father yet, but I think that a lot of fathers could resonate with just how frustrated he was with trying his best. And I was proud of him for getting up early and doing the math and getting mad at the math and then going
what
back.
What you mean you proud of him? We do it every single day. What are you talking about? That's his job, Poppy. He's supposed to get up with the kids. She's working. They be saying that. That's
I know that's how they saying that. Terrible. That accent was terrible. I will say that
I had a good accent.
No, but then if you flip around and tell us some shit about what she's supposed to do, then you toxic.
Don't do that. I want to shout out that I appreciate the fact that you're like, this is how we did math. Why did they change it? Who needed to change math? Because that's how I feel when my daughter brings me her math products and she's showing me the box and all this other stuff. I say, why did they make it more difficult? Like, there's no logical explanation for it.
I really
and I also did myself a discredit because I forgot something.
What you forget? Oh God, yes.
This is definitely better than that movie.
Does that change the grade?
Technically, it should. I'm going to keep with the thumbs down, but technically, if I go by that criteria, I definitely enjoy Incredibles 2 more than the Batman.
But a thumbs down.
I'm keeping a thumbs down.
Wow.
Not that I thought it was like a really terrible movie. It's just that unfortunately I have to keep comparing it to Incredibles, and I don't expect it to be better. It doesn't even have to be as good, but it just pales in comparison to me.
What you got, Vic? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
No, it was a good time. Thumbs up.
Yeah. I know the answer, but I got to give the man his due. You know what I'm saying? So for once, it leaves me in sort of the middle spot here because as a father, one of the reasons why I love The Incredibles, the first one, because I am a father. I've been a father for 25 years. So watching these movies as kids, I always tell people, look at through the eyes, through the lenses of your children. You see things differently. I watch wrestling that way. So my approach to it, although I have a lot of what you call smart marks in me, I can live in the moment. So I live in the moment. And I love animation. I love cartoon movies. I love superhero movies more than anything. So you give me this is right up my alley with it being a dad fatherly led movie. At least the first one was. You come into this one, more family, integrated, boom, boom. Everything you said as well, though, Vic, how mom can do this and Violet's rise to it. But my problem with this movie was it took so damn long to get here. So I have to be honest. I would give it a thumbs up. You're watching this review. Should you watch this movie again? Should you appreciate the movie? Is it a good time? Absolutely. But for my personal experience, I was disappointed because it was not as good as the first Incredibles. But it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? And that's why I'll say where a lot of things are us as fans, our expectations are too high, right?
Oh, definitely.
I will quickly go into a movie with so many expectations. If it doesn't live up to it, it sucks. So walking out, I liked it. I remember my kids and my wife being very excited. And I was just like, it's okay. And we watch it again today. And my wife's in here screaming, and I was like, it's okay. I had the same feeling because it's just not the first movie, but all overall, thumbs up for me for this movie. That'll be our end of our review for 2018 movies. Come back next week as we will be reviewing Pacific Rim 2. And for our wrestling marks, right now on Unpopular Review Wrestling Channel, we're going to have this WWE SummerSlam prediction show. And we also got Dark Side of the Ring going on with the ladies. So make sure you guys tune out. And again, come back Tuesday for Mockingjay, the end of our franchise review of the Hunger Games. So listen, again, that is the executive consultant. That is Vic Damone Jr. And y'all know who I am, Mr. Knox Incredible. We see y'all next week, y'all. Peace.
Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Crazy, right? To help my family, I gotta leave it. To fix the law, I gotta break it.
You've got to, so our kids can have that choice.
Thank you, young man.
Suit up. It might get weird.
I'll be there ASAP.